Ladies and gentlemen, we are in Warsaw, which is a capital of Poland, but also a city. And we have a pleasure to host and have with us today President of Warsaw, Mr. Rafał Trzaskowski, who is, well, I would say a regular guest, not only at the Warsaw Security Forum, but at the international in the international community, because he is also the former Minister of Digitalization of Poland and Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, as well as the former member of European Parliament. So let me welcome to the podium Rafał Trzaskowski, who will welcome you on behalf of the city of Warsaw.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Warsaw. I wanted to welcome you in the city and tell you a few things about Warsaw and about the challenges that actually stand before my administration and the city as a whole. I have to tell you that I'm a bit tired as well, because yesterday, late in the evening, I was reading a book which is called A Russian Roulette, how Putin is meddling or was meddling in American elections. So I can tell you that I was pretty tired after reading the first 3 chapters. So you were discussing Russia and I was reading about Russia. And it turns out that even if you are a mayor of the city, I mean, the challenges, security challenges and the challenges that are global are quite important in our context as well. When it comes to security, this is one of few issues where we are in sync and in agreement with the government. So this is wonderful that I can actually be here at this conference and not criticize what's going on in foreign policy. And what a relief I do not have to comment on European policy of the current government, because I'm the mayor of Warsaw, not the Minister of European Affairs anymore. It is a relief, I have to tell you. When it comes to the global challenges, of all the things that you're discussing here, security, questions of climate change, questions of innovation, Brexit, all of those issues actually concern us as mayors of the cities in Europe and global cities, which need to actually face these challenges. Of course, security, knock on wood, is not the most important preoccupation in Warsaw, because this is one of the safest cities in Europe. But of course, we need to collaborate, and especially when it comes to cybersecurity, we need to be quite attentive when it comes to what is happening in our closest neighborhood, and we do that. But I wanted to tell you about 2 most important challenges where I would submit to you that cities are at the forefront of global fight in order to confront these issues. One is climate change, and the other is obviously innovation, startups, smart cities, and all of those developments that actually can improve the quality of life in most of the cities that matter in global economy. By the way, this is one of revelations that whenever I go, C40, for example, where we discuss global change, or when I went to the US for Bloomberg Harvard program, where I met mayors from the biggest American cities, when we started discussing the challenges, we had exactly the same things to confront. And some of the worries that we have and some of the solutions were exactly the same. Regardless of whether you're from Warsaw, or whether you're from New Orleans, or whether you're from Stockholm, we do deal with the same issues. Climate change. We are really close to the people. We listen to them and we know what their preoccupations are. When you look at Warsaw, Warsaw has changed enormously in the past 12 years when it comes to infrastructure. Now people talk about quality of life. That's what they're focused on. And of course, climate change is one of the most important preoccupations. I mean, the young people from Warsaw and from the whole country were protesting on the streets of my city just a week ago, because they want politicians to do something about it. And again, wherever you go, this is one of the main preoccupations, because most of the citizens of our cities now talk about quality of life, quality of air, and what to do with climate change. C40 is gathering in Copenhagen next week. 90 biggest cities in Europe, the mayors will discuss what we can do together, where some of our governments are fast asleep when it comes to dealing with these challenges. And what we do, of course, is we have to demonstrate that if we listen to the people, we need to tackle climate change. That's why public transportation is so important for us. That's why we introduce zero-emission buses into the city. We just had the second biggest tender in Europe after London, here in Warsaw. That's why we actually pay subventions for people who use renewable energy. This is one of the most important things to tackle when you talk to the people in the streets, especially when they're young. We try to connect as many houses as possible to central heating, which is a problem on this side of the river, which also helps us tackle poverty, because this is one of the most important issues when it comes to the differences in quality of life. Second thing is innovation. And again, you know, you're in Warsaw, you're in Poland. People sometimes ask me why this is a place where people want to do investment. Why do people come here? Why Warsaw is now, especially after Brexit, one of the hottest, most discussed cities in Europe? It's because of the quality of people. Because we've got very educated, hungry for success Polish people who think out of the box. And I always use this parallel because I've been observing Poles everywhere. I've been observing Poles working for the European institutions, for international institutions, and also Polish plumbers working in France, working in Brussels, and so on. You know what? Poles will actually fix your problem. This is the difference. I mean, a Polish plumber will not just buy a new thing and substitute the one which was broken, a broken part with a new one. He will fix it. And he will also fix your electricity, and when a need arises, take care of your children. Because that's what we do, multitask and think out of the box. Also when it comes to European institutions. Check them out. They never leave at 5. They try to look at a problem and solve it, which is one of the most important things when you need innovation. There is a problem with risk-taking, but we're working on that because we need to have qualified workforce. And this is not just a gimmick, because, you know, everyone talks about innovation, but when you're coming from a city, you know what innovation is for. It's for tackling problems, such as congestion, such as climate change. For example, we're working on apps which will help you find a parking space in our city. That's what we need to do, and that's what we're doing, attracting startups, attracting talents from all over Europe and from all over the world. And guys, we've got no complexes, really. Go around, visit the city. All of you who have been here, you know, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, will see how it changed and that it really can now compete with the best of the best. That's why quite a lot of companies from Britain come and knock on my door and ask, how about making business in Warsaw? So these are just two challenges. You are discussing them, we are discussing them, but of course, security, questions of hybrid threats, questions of migration, all of those things need to be resolved on the national level, but actually are also tackled on a day-to-day basis by the mayors of the cities in Poland, in Europe, and in the United States. And I always end with one thing. Please enjoy my city. Spend as much money as you can. And come back. Have a wonderful conference. Thank you.
I believe you see the energy, and we are in the middle of campaign. So I appreciate even more that President Trzaskowski and Minister Kwieciński found a while to visit us, and it's really important.